I'd like to say, maybe in society standard, I'm very, very poor and I'm broke, but for my standards, I'm very, very rich. And I say that because I feel like richness, wealth, whatever you want to call it, is determined by things that are not just money. I think that society places on us that, okay, we have to have a certain dollar figure in our accounts to quote unquote have enough. But let me ask you, what is enough? What's enough of a dollar figure that's going to make me rich in life? That's going to make me wealthy, that's going to make me feel good, that's going to give me freedom. There's no dollar figure that sets you free. Your mind sets you free. Only thing that sets you free is your thoughts. Only thing that sets you free is letting yourself be free. Right? So in this life, when I ask myself, am I rich? Am I a rich man or am I a poor man? A poor man is somebody that is not able to live life, somebody that is not able to, my version of a poor man is somebody that's not able to live a life and embrace the life and be happy about the life and enjoy a life and be able to be free enough to explore life's beauties. And I'm far from that. Today I have a family. Today I have enough money to eat. Today I have enough to look at the beauty of life. And a lot of the things that I find that make me so rich are things that are free. I'm free in the experiences that I face, free in the options and the opportunities that are in my life because today I'm able to live. And the freedom that I feel is because I've also felt imprisoned and almost like in jail in one way or another. And I say that in jail or I say imprisoned in a sense because I never truly went to jail. I never was in prison. But at the same time, I say in prison because I was imprisoning myself in a place where I could not grow and I lived the same day over and over and over again. And I was so worried about what people thought of me that I lived a whole nother life. I began to be a person that I did not want to be, to live up to society's standard. And that's the version of free that I am. And that's not a version of being free, for me at least. And the things that I'm able to do, the person that I'm able to be today, defines rich for me. And no dollar amount on my screen, no dollar amount in my pocket will ever define how rich or poor I am. Because regardless of the amount of money you have, there's always more. There's always more to get. There's always more. There's always another level. There's always something that you can't get. There's always something that you want that, quote unquote, you're too poor to have. But in my mind, I can't measure wealth in that way. I can't measure freedom in numbers. I can't imagine that society defines who I am, what I look at myself like, and what I will be in my life. Because circumstances are circumstances. One thing I saw when I was younger was something that gave me this perspective, and that was when I was like 16, 17, I went on a mission trip in Haiti. And I went on this mission trip, and my life has always looked like pretty much the suburbs, $1 million houses, things like this. Maybe it doesn't look like it to some people, but these houses are millions of dollars in some way, shape, and form in this country of America. But I went to Haiti, and at the time I was like just beginning like my journey in like drugs. If you don't know, I'm like 4.5 years sober, and I just started using drugs, and I just walked into this life and this lifestyle supposedly that was gonna bring me all the joy in the world of through sin, right? And I was indulging in things because all of my favorite rappers did it. This is the lifestyle that I always dreamed of growing up, blah, 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 blah. And I started indulging in it. I started doing it. And I started to feel the effects of why it wasn't serving me in a good way. And I had to get off weed for this trip. I had to like go and be like sober, I guess, for like these couple of days. And I got sick like the first day because I was like withdrawing. And after a couple of days, I started to feel like a little bit better. I was starting to be able to eat food, things like this. And then we went to this village in like the middle of the desert, very, very far from all of humanity. And in this village, there were kids, and they didn't even have water, food, hadn't had a hot meal in like, maybe they had like one hot meal a month when they had like a foundation like the foundation I was going with to give them food and clothes, and they barely had clothes. Their penises were sticking out of their pants. They maybe didn't have a shirt, all types of things like this. And my only job, I asked the woman that brought me on the trip what my job was, what they wanted me to do. And it was pretty much just to keep the kids entertained and spend time with these kids. And at first I was like looking at the way that this country of Haiti is built and how it was not built. It didn't even have roads. It looked like it was bombed by like a nuke. And I hate to say that, but it is a very underdeveloped country. And I played with these kids. I played soccer with these kids for maybe like 2 hours. And these kids had the biggest smiles on their faces, having the most fun I've ever seen kids have. And yet their circumstances were not great. They weren't quote unquote rich. They weren't quote unquote wealthy at all. They were actually the bottom of the barrel poor. We're seeing one meal a month, but they even told me things like, the older kids that were like maybe like 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, they were like, man, all you have to be is happy. Like it's not hard. It's not hard to be happy. All you have to do is choose to be happy, man. All you have to choose is just to put a smile. A smile is all you have. And I started thinking, I'm like, what? They gotta be kidding me. Are you shit? Like that's as simple as it is. All you got is a smile. Go be happy. You know? And I was like, wow, you guys have less than less. And you're just happy with a smile on your face. And that is something that shocked me and gave me a perspective that I'll never forget, that you truly are in control of the way you look at things and the way that you feel, and there's always a perspective to look at things a different way. So I just ask you to take that in account every day of your life and realize that there's always somebody going through 10 times worse, and they're going through it 10 times better than you are, and they've built up some type of perspective that enables them to live through it. And I find that incredible. You know, that was something that really changed my life, knowing that like there's somebody out here that doesn't have food, doesn't have water, doesn't have the life that you have, doesn't have the things that you have to be grateful for, but yet you're not being grateful. And I still didn't change my ways after that, but when I did change my ways, I look back on those times and I was very grateful for the fact that I saw those things in my life at such a young age. And I realized that life is not all about me. Like that experience, I was with them, but they taught me more than I could have ever taught them. You know, they gave to us more than we ever could have gave to them. So I just say these experiences because society will really trick your mind into thinking that this life is something that it's not, and the things that you want to obtain in this life are different than the things that you need to actually attain to live a quote-unquote free life. And all of it's just in your mind, man. You could be anything you want to be. You could live any life that you want to live. You have to just choose to live it.